Sometimes the best thing you can do for her is walk away, because when a man stands in silence, focused on himself, his energy speaks louder than any message ever could. Watch this till the very end. It might just shift how you see love forever. Comment your location and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful mindset truths when she walks away. The first instinct most men have is to chase, to fix it, to explain, to plead, to prove that they're worth staying for. But here's the hard truth. The more you chase, the further she runs, because in that moment your energy is no longer calm or grounded, it's desperate. And nothing kills attraction faster than desperation. Detachment, therefore, isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about remembering that your value doesn't vanish because someone no longer sees it. When you stop chasing, you begin to shift the energy between you and her. You see, women are incredibly intuitive. They sense emotional frequency faster than words can express. When a man withdraws his focus, not out of bitterness, but out of peace, something changes. The silence becomes louder than any apology. The absence begins to speak a language she understands, the language of self-respect. In that quiet, she starts to question herself, did I make a mistake? And that's the moment attraction begins to rekindle, not from manipulation, but from natural polarity. Female psychology operates deeply within emotional contrast. A woman feels drawn to what she can't fully grasp. When you're always available, always reacting, she loses that contrast. The mystery fades. But when you pull back with composure, not as a tactic but as an act of inner power, she begins to notice what she lost. The mind starts to replay moments, the heart starts to wander, and before long, the distance creates desire again. That's how the comeback begins, not with chasing her, but with returning to yourself. This is what most men misunderstand. They think detachment means cutting her off, ignoring her, or being cold. But real detachment is spiritual. It's the understanding that love cannot be forced, that the right energy will always circle back when both souls are ready. You stop chasing not because you've given up on her, but because you've chosen to protect your peace. You've chosen to grow, to heal, to let your silence do the talking. And here's the beauty of it. When you're no longer chasing, you become magnetic again, because in her eyes, the man who once needed her has now learned to stand without her. And that transformation, that shift in energy, is what reignites attraction. You've gone from being emotionally dependent to emotionally sovereign. You've gone from wanting her validation to being complete without it. And when a woman feels that it touches something deep within her, that primal respect for a man who is self-possessed. So if you're listening right now and you're struggling with the urge to reach out, to text, to make her remember, stop, breathe, let her feel the loss of your presence, let her curiosity grow in your absence, because sometimes silence is the loudest answer, and distance is the only mirror that makes her see your true worth. When you learn to detach, you don't lose her, you find yourself, and that's the kind of man she always comes back to. Women are emotional creatures, not because they're weak, but because their emotional world is where they process truth. When a woman walks away, she's often not running from you. She's running from the version of you that no longer feels emotionally stable. And in that space, she watches, not what you say, but how you react to her absence. This is where the law of emotional polarity comes into play. It's the principle that attraction thrives on contrast. Her emotion is drawn to your calm, her chaos seeks your composure, and her uncertainty looks for your direction. When you lose emotional control after she leaves, you flip that polarity. Instead of being the grounded center she was once drawn to, you become part of the storm she's trying to escape. A man who reacts from pain, anger, or desperation unknowingly confirms her decision to walk away. But when you remain calm, genuinely calm, not performative or cold, you begin to reestablish your position in her emotional world. You become the space of stillness she once felt safe in. That's when the energy starts to shift. You see, women remember peace more than pleasure. They recall how they felt around you. Not what you gave them, not what you said, but what energy you carried. When your energy was centered, she felt protected. When your emotions were balanced, she could surrender. But when you started needing her validation to feel secure, the polarity broke. She couldn't lean into you anymore because you stopped standing firm. This is why calmness is not passivity. It's power, it's emotional mastery in motion. Emotional polarity is like a dance between chaos and stillness. A woman doesn't consciously say, "I miss his stability," but her heart feels the void of it. When every man she meets after you is trying too hard, overcompensating, or reacting from insecurity, your calm becomes unforgettable. your restraint becomes rare. And in her subconscious mind, she starts to associate your presence with safety again. That's when her walls begin to lower and the possibility of reconnection reemerges. Not because you chased, but because your energy evolved. You have to stop living in reaction to her. Your mood, your peace, your confidence cannot depend on her response. The moment it does, you lose your power. A grounded man doesn't need to prove his worth. His energy already speaks it. He understands that control over emotions is not suppression. It's discipline. It's choosing to respond, not react, to hold space for what you feel without letting it dictate your direction. So when she leaves, don't drown in your emotions. Let them rise, observe them, and channel them into purpose. Use that emotional fuel to build your focus, refine your presence, and expand your life. Because the moment your emotional world no longer depends on hers, you become magnetic again. Remember this, women don't fall in love with words, they fall in love with the peace your presence brings. Be the calm she can't find anywhere else, and she'll always find her way back to you. The truth is, waiting for her to come back will only keep you stuck in the same emotional loop that pushed her away in the first place. The real magic happens when you stop waiting and start evolving, because attraction, genuine lasting attraction, doesn't respond to begging, convincing, or waiting. It responds to transformation. It responds to the version of you that grows stronger, wiser, and more self-assured because of the loss, not despite it. This is where true reinvention begins, when you decide that her leaving isn't the end of your story, but the spark that ignites your rise. When a woman leaves, she's not just walking away from the relationship, she's walking away from the version of you that existed within it. That's not an insult. It's an invitation. It's life saying, evolve now. You can either stay stuck in the pain, replaying what went wrong, or you can use that same pain as fuel to rebuild your identity. Because the most magnetic thing a man can ever do is turn heartbreak into evolution. The version of you she left was emotionally dependent. The version of you she remembers will be emotionally independent. And when that transformation happens, it radiates not just through your words, but through your energy, your posture, your focus. Reinvention isn't about becoming someone else to win her back. It's about becoming the fullest version of yourself. Focus on your purpose, your growth, your peace. Start moving with direction again. The moment you make your life bigger than her absence, you begin to attract from abundance instead of lack. And here's the fascinating part. Women can sense that. She may not see you, but she'll feel your energy shift. It's in how you speak, how you carry yourself, how you no longer chase what walked away. That's when curiosity creeps in. That's when she begins to wonder, what changed in him? There's something profoundly attractive about a man who can rise from pain with dignity, because deep down, women respect resilience. The ability to stay centered even when life falls apart. You're not proving yourself to her anymore, you're proving yourself to your own potential. And ironically, it's that very shift that makes her rethink her choices. The man who once needed her has now become the man she needs to feel whole again. But this time, you're not waiting for her, you're walking your path with purpose, and that's what draws her back, not your words, but your evolution. So don't ask, will she come back? Ask, who will I become while she's gone? Because the moment you become the man she once dreamed of, her memory will do the rest. You won't have to chase. She'll find her way back to the energy she once felt safe in, only this time stronger, deeper, wiser. And if she doesn't come back, you still win because you've become the man every woman regrets losing.